All right. In this part, we will be looking at Python function. I want to master Python function. So what is Python function? And that's what we'll be looking at. Python function, so functions reduce our stress of having to write the same thing over and over again. So we're going to take, we're going to go through why we have function and what we can achieve with Python function. First, why do we need Python function? So in programming, we often perform some logic multiple times. We perform some activities a number of times. And instead of you having to copy the code or you write the code, we can easily invoke the function and say, okay, function, that activities or something, this thing that I achieved or that I did earlier before now, do it again. All right. So basically, it's helping us to implement the dry principle, which is do not repeat yourself. If you want to use Python function or want to use functions in Python, you need to def it. You need to write or start with def. Okay, DEF, small letter, and then followed immediately with the name of the function. In this case, the name of the function is greet students. That means, greet students. That means greet underscore students. And then followed by parentheses. Okay, that is bracket open and close. And lastly, you're going to see column. So afterwards, you're going to see the action you want it to perform. So the action we want it to perform is simply say, welcome to the AI ML course. That's all. So welcome to the AI ML course. Now, if you want to welcome multiple students, welcome to the AI ML course, we don't need to now start saying print welcome to AI ML course, print AI welcome to AI ML course. So instead of, if you have 5 students, instead of having to do that, welcome to the AI ML course, we can simply use def or use functions to print out multiple welcome to AI ML course without having to repeat the line of code to print blah, blah, blah. All right. So Kennedy, I can see you have your hands up or your hands raised. You can
Yes,
go on,
sir. I'm not seeing your screen. I don't know.
Oh. Okay, is any other one person not seeing my screen?
I can't see it as well.
Oh.
I can see it. It is visibly seen.
I can also see it. I can see it.
I can see your screen too.
Oh, 2 people cannot see it. So the 2 people, I think, please do well to refresh your screen. I guess that will solve it. So if other people can see it, or should I reshare? Okay, let me reshare.
No,
So let me.
could be the first exit, then they rejoin. It could be network issues.
Yeah, it couldn't be from my end since other can see it. So please, just rejoin. Is that fine? All right, great. Thank you. So from what you can see on the screen right now, def or functions will save us the time and the stress of having to rewrite print welcome to the IML course. Welcome to the IML course for 5 students. Now imagine you want to write for 50 students. You keep rewriting. All right. So instead of saying welcome to the IML course or multiple times, when any student comes, we can just say, you can just write the function name. The function name is greet underscore students. So all we need to do is to just say greet underscore students. And we not have to write print blah 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 and print blah 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 again. So this is what I'm saying. We start the function def. Okay. Okay, those are unable to join. Have you been able to see my screen now? Those that couldn't see the screen, have you been able to see now?
Yes.
All right, great. Thank you. All right, now let's see what we're trying to say here. So if you have a situation in which we said, okay, let me remove this first. Now, to start, we're going to have def. We need to create def. This identify whatever we're doing as a function, then followed by the name of the function, parentheses. In some cases, we need to put in parameters inside these parentheses, but don't worry, we get there. So what do we want this function? This is the function, the dev greet students. What do you want it to achieve? What we want this function to achieve for us is this. Is simply to tell students, welcome to the AI ML course. Oh, sorry, for those that I don't understand what I'm saying. Okay, so that's what we want this function to do for us. But now let's run it. Okay, if you run this, no outputs, because we only have the function and the name and what you want to achieve by the function. Before the function can actually run, okay, we need to call the function. So if we don't call it, nothing will happen. Oh. So to call the function, we need to greet. Okay. We need to bring the name of the function, which is greet underscore students. Now let's run it again. Now it says, welcome to the class. All right. Welcome to the class. So if we don't put the greets, if we don't call the function, even after defining the function, even after giving the code to the function, or the what you want to achieve with the function, it will still not run until you call the function. Now it says, welcome to the AML. Now another student comes in and you want to connect welcome to the students. Instead of having to write this over again, you can simply call the function. Okay, so you call the function again and then you run for the second student. Again, another student comes in. Instead of having to write the entire code again, you can call the function. Okay, so if you call the function, run it, another student. We are going to 5 students. Another student comes and he wants to say, welcome to the AIML course. We do the same thing. We invoke the function and then we run. And then the 5th student comes. We do the same thing. Now imagine that we have to be writing this code over and over again. So and that is one of the way functions reduce the stress of having to repeat and run tasks over and over again. Okay. Now let's look. So calling the function or invoking the function. All right, fine. Now, if you observe that when we run our Python code here or our functions, okay, when we run a function, we don't have anything inside the, okay, you just have the parentheses. There is nothing inside it. All right. But ideally, we can make our function solve more challenging tasks by adding parameters and arguments. Okay, so now if you can say, let's name of a student be, okay, I want this to be the name of the student and I want it to be the class. Okay, let's say name of a student. So when I'm calling, can put the name of a student there, and then you can tell me, welcome to the course, John. Welcome to the Paul, Sulaiman, and stuff like that. Okay, and that is when we filled in the parentheses with parameter names or arguments. All right. Now, in details, now let's look at what is parameter, what is arguments, and how do we fill this into a function. All right. And that's what we're going to be looking at next. Parameters and arguments. So most function needs input to be useful. So at the moment, this doesn't actually sound so useful because you're just saying, welcome to the AIMA course. What if we can say, okay, welcome to the AIMA course, Tunde. Welcome to the AIMA course, Latifat. Welcome to the AIMA course, Hamina. Welcome to the AIMA course, Peter. So you welcome people by personalizing them. And that is exactly what parameters and arguments can help us to achieve. So most functions needs input to be useful. At the moment, the one we have up there is not very, very useful, because it is not personalizing, or it doesn't contain parameters and arguments. So now, what is parameter? What is arguments? So when we have variable listed inside the parentheses, then we say we have defined the parameters. It is just a placeholder for inputs. Alternatively, when we put in the actual name or the actual value into the parentheses, then we say we have arguments. Now, earlier on in our former or previous examples, we said we can say deaf greeting students, and then we put name of the student, we put name. This is still a parameter. But if we decide to say, okay, the name is Peter, okay, welcome Peter, then we have gone into argument, or we can say name equal to Peter. That means we had parameter and arguments, as the case may be. So parameter is a variable listed inside the parentheses, while the argument is the actual value. Now, let's take, for example, as we have here, types of arguments. Okay, so as we have here, we have def, which is, of course, to tell us that this is a function, and then followed by the function name, and then we have the parameter. So this time around, X and Y are parameters because we simply want it to multiply X and Y. So here it is returning X and Y. So that means it's going to say return XY. That means multiply X by Y. But what is Y? What is X? They have been indicated in the parameter. So but now, when we now say what X is and what Y is, then we said we have defined the arguments. At the moment, at this point, no arguments. We only see the parameters. Now, let's now fix the arguments. The arguments here are 4 and 5. We can as well say, okay, the arguments here are 4 and 5. So at this point, we don't have arguments. We only have parameter. Now, the argument have been fixed here. It is allowed. So why is that so? It's so that we can be able to change our parameters. When we have a code, we can use any parameters we want. So it can work for various values. Now, the results will still not work until we call our parameter, we call our function. So it is, here is where we are calling our function. So we say results should be multiply. This is the name of the function. In the parentheses, the arguments of the function we defined upstairs or we defined up there earlier on. Okay, so we have the function, and now the function with the parameter, but these functions will be useless if we don't define the parameters. So this is how we define the parameter. We say the results. This is where we are calling the parameter results. So we use the invoking parameters. This is where we are calling it to be multiplied. Of course, that's the name of the parameter. Okay, then we put in the actual arguments. So if we run this, that means print. We now say print results. This is what we are printing out now. So let's just run this and see. So let's run this and see the output. So the output here, okay, the output here is 20. Okay, because we defined. Well, now we can let's try and comment this one out. If you comment this out, just define the function, we don't give you any results. All right, but when we now define and when we now call the function here, all right, if we comment this out by using hash, if you don't want any code to run, you can put hash, it will not run. All right, if you run this, no results. What gives us the results is when we print it out. All right, we may as well say, if you don't want to use this, comment this out. So you may as well say print what? We are printing the multiple, okay, multiply. So we can just print it directly, but we need to invoke the function. All right. So then this should also give us the same results. And if you want to change your value, maybe now you want to do another, probably you want to multiply 40 by 55. So you don't need to rewrite the code again. You simply invoke the parameter and then run. And then now you want to multiply 4,000 by 550, then run again. So you can see it has reduced us significant amount of time, you know, by simply changing the value without having to rewrite the code over and over again. And that is the essence of function in Python. So we're going to end it at this point for today.